The world is entering a state of crisis due to the nuclear bombing incident around the world. It makes life impossible on the ground due to the toxic air. Therefore, had to move to bunkers in various areas. But with the population exceeding the area inhabited and resources starting to run out, scientists had to work together to find a way out for the human race. So the utopia projects was born in which 70% of the remaining humans on Earth would be moved into a place called Utopia. 100 years have passed. Sophia, the only granddaughter of scientists who invented Utopia, announces to the people on the Earth, "Hello to all the people living on Earth. I have a good news to report. Now our world is able to return to life," says Sophia. As misses the sounds of people expressing their joy, there was someone's voice inserted into the communication line. "So, will we wake up the people in Utopia?" says no. "No, we cannot wake them up yet. We have to make sure that the situation is safe now. We will wake them up," says Sophia. "That you don't wake them up, is it because you are worried or something else?" says unknown. The end of the mysterious people's question. Sophia's mind immediately doubled, turning into a tense expression as she said in a serious tone, "Of course, I have to worry about entire human population. The Utopia project my father created was to preserve the human race so that all humans could live, and no one would be left behind," says Sophia. Afterwards, the bunker's door opened to reveal the outside world where humans once lived, a world that humans have not experienced for 100 years. But today, everything is back to normal. The world has recovered to the point where humans can live again. Everyone lived their lives so peacefully that they forgot that they had abandoned the people of Utopia. Forgetting their promise that the first day, the bunker's doors opened to wake the people of Utopia once they were sure. The world is very safe. At this point, you may be wondering what Utopia is. Utopia is the solutions project for humanity 100 years ago, going back to when the world entered a crisis due to the dropping of nuclear bombs all over the world due to war, making the world uninhabitable for humans' life. Leaders around the world agreed that everyone must be evacuated into bunkers in each country immediately. But each country's bunkers are prepared with enough space for everyone. But they cannot accommodate everyone due to insufficient food resources. Scientists already doing research on this matter proposed the Utopia project so that no human being would be left behind or expelled from bunker. Utopia is another world that is a virtual world. Entering Utopia can be done by sleeping in a room that has been prepared, and then the scientists at the place will be responsible to taking care of it. The body of people participating in the project are thought living in a utopia. The external body still glow with age in real life, or if someone dies in utopia, it means that in the real world they also die. And another important condition of being in utopia is that must have their memories erased in order to prevent internal conflicts. Utopia was humanity's best bet at the time, but now it's different because the Earth is once again a home for humans and a habitable environment. But people forget those in Utopia. On the other hand, people may not forget because they don't have enough power to do anything. Where there is no justice, there will also be people who oppose the idea, because there is a small group of people trying to demand justice for those living in Utopia, just to hope that the world will return to being more moral and just than it was, and adhere to the Utopia project. That's what created because we didn't want to leave anyone behind. Marlene, president of Back Utopia, gathered together people who will disagree with Sophia and forms a secret, innovative project to awaken the people of Utopia. Where has the progress so far, Doctor? Is the machine that will help awaken people to Utopia near completion? Says Marlene. Our Back Utopia is ready. Only the last variable remains, says Doctor. What is the last variable? Says Marlene. The Utopia system is very safe. It's like we have to go into the control room to turn it off, says Doctor. And where is the control room? Says Marlene. Dr. Smith's lab is now at the White House, says Doctor. There is no way we cannot go there at all. Now Sophia's people have captured the place, says Marlene. Yes, but that is not the final solution because I found some clues from the plans of Dr. Smith gave to group of scientists around the world to create a utopia, say doctors. What did you find? Says Marlene. Dr. Smith is very well-lauded people. He doesn't only have a control room on our planet, but he also built it at Utopia, says Doctor. You mean we can code it from the inside? Says Marlene. Yes, there must be someone inside who closed it. We have to find a way to communicate with people, the people inside, for someone to get their memories back and then have them shut down to the Utopia system would make the Utopia back perfect. The people inside will be awakened together and we can bring them back to the real world, says Doctor. What else can we do now? Says Marlene. Now that I have successfully connected to the Utopia back to the centers of Utopia, all that remains is who we choose to shut down the system, says Doctor. Can we wake up everyone there to remember at the same time? Says Marlene. It cannot be done. It can be done. But the more people we wake up, the more it becomes too much of our focus. I think it would be even more risky to get Mrs. Sophia's notice. Another thing is that in Utopia people can come and go everywhere and there is not much of security system. I think it's better to use just one person. The less you know, the better, says Doctor. Can I use my doctor webinar? Says Marlene. Is that good? Mr. Marlene, there is a risk that Mrs. Sophia will find out and be able to deal with Mrs. Barbina, says Doctor. I know, but I don't dare to risk other people's lives either, and I trust my child. I believe Verbina will succeed, says Marlene. If Mr. Marlene wants it like that, I will do as you want, says Doctor. On the side of Utopia, while everyone is living life like every day, Marlene's daughter, Verbina, begins to notice that her surroundings are starting to look different. She began to see Luna, a glass lot floating in the sky, that the doctor has secretly sent to insert Utopia bliss. But when she asked everyone, no one saw the same thing as her. She began to have images popping up in her head. She immediately realized that it was a memory from her childhood. But no matter how much she thought about it, she couldn't figure out who the person in that memory was. No matter how hard she tried to find the person in those memories, she couldn't find any. That's because the doctor sent out signals to let Verbina know that she was in this space. This utopia is a fake world. The doctor used web to stimulate her brain to replay memories from her childhood before she was sent away to Utopia by her mother. Verbina, a 16-year-old child, is sent to Utopia when she turns 12 because of the rule that a family cannot have more than one child. Marlene already had one child before Verbina, so she inevitably sends Verbina into Utopia. Verbina began to unravel the mystery of that strange memory. She tried to find a place in that memory because she was sure that it was definitely where she grew up, but she couldn't find any because of Abina was laid in a bunker. But the utopia was created to resemble the real world, causing to be unable to find her place in her memories. She suddenly starts to hear someone calling her. Every night that you sleep, and every morning when you wake up, is what a voice that she felt both familiar and nostalgic about. Every time she heard this sound, Babina would burst into tears.
Her heart was sad beyond words, but she felt even more sad as she was confused about what exactly was wrong with her now. One night, when Marina fell asleep, she dreamed that she was eating with a woman. She remembered her face well, because it was the same person who had woken up with strange memories. But in that dream, she and the woman were very happy. But then someone from nowhere came and took her away. Take her and that woman apart. No, don't take me. Let me go, please, says Webina. Webina trying to plead for her captor to release her, but to no avail. Mom, please help me. Mom, please help me, says Webina. Her begging voice is gone. Webina woke up with a rush of emotions. Now, she remembered it all. She already knows who she is. She cries in the middle of the night out of sorrow and longing for her mother. Webina, you remember now, right? Says Ano. Someone was calling her in a familiar voice. That's right. It was the voice of her mother, Marlene. Mom, is that you? Says Webina. Yes, replied Marlene. Why? Why did Mom leave me? Says Webina. Webina asked and crying uncontrollably. I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to. It is a rule that everyone must follow. I'm sorry, I didn't try to hurt enough for you, replied Marlene. Webina was still crying with regret because this story was too much for a 16-year-old to handle. It would take her a while to understand. I know you're sad, but you must listen to your mother. Now, our world is back to normal and ready for habitation, said Marlene. Is the world ready for a life? So why am I still here? Says Webina. Webina asked seriously because if the world would really normal, then she in Utopia would have already been awake. Because of Sophia. Sophia refused to wake up the people in Utopia, replied Marlene. Because of Auntie Sophia? Said Webina. In fact, Marlene and Sophia are close friends. But as time passed, Sophia is the daughter of Dr. Smith, the inventor of Utopia. She is fascinated by the power and she was over the population of Utopia, causing her to become a different person. She is happy to be admired by famous and powerful people. She then began to do even more evil things. That was after she announced that the world was ready for habitation. She secretly raised people in Utopia to serve as slaves to those in power because when the world was restored, people had to start setting in and use their own strength to survive. But the powerful man was different because he raised up the people of Utopia in order to use their labor. Marlene told Webina the whole story. I didn't think that Aunt Sophia would do that, says Webina. People can always change. Don't think too much right now. Just go to sleep. Tomorrow you have a lot to do. Save your stress first. In the next morning, Webina was preparing for a mission that she still didn't know exactly what it was, but her instincts told her she had to be as prepared as possible. Are you ready? Says Marlene. Is that Mom? What do I have to do? Replied Webina. Today you have to go to church. The doctor says that the church is Utopia's control center. She had to go in and turn it off, said Marlene. Yes, Mom, replied Verbena. Verbena went straight to the church she used to attend because it was the center of the city. She entered and surveyed her surroundings because even thought Marlene said that Utopia's control center was here. She didn't say where it was. When Verbena had been exploring for a while, she found a door on the floor, so she decided to open it and go down the stair that she knew where they would end. Marlene had not contacted Verbena since she entered the church. It took a while for Verbena to reach the bottom floor. The image she saw in front of her now was something like a glass rod. That's right, it was Luna. The glass rod she had seen before seeing her own memories. But this Luna was different, because normally what you see is a clear, rectangular shape, but this one had light emitting. Aside thinking for a long time, Verbena decided to touch the glass rod, and yes, she was right. That thing is the center from which Utopia is closed. Just a touch could awaken all the people in Utopia and every corner of the world. Verbena and everyone in Utopia have woken up, which has alerted the White House, the center of Utopia on Earth, causing Sophia to realize that the people of Utopia have now woken up. She ordered the watchdog of Utopia around the world to keep people from leaving, but it didn't work. There were too many people, and it was all out of her control now. People from Utopia come out into the outside world to protest against and expel Sophia. Sophia was powerful but could not resist the mass of people who rose up to protest against her. Sophia was ultimately defeated, and the world returned to its start point again. People even thought they had to start over to lay the foundation, live happily.